Hello and welcome to Casual Buddhism. I'm Cindy Rossico, author of Finding Venerable Mother and devoted follower of Venerable Dhammananda Bhikkhuni. Venerable Dhammananda is the first fully ordained Theravada Buddhist nun in Thailand. She's also the abbess of Sangdhammakayani Temple, which is in Nakhon Pathom, about 40 miles west of Bangkok. And tonight she, of course, so you'll understand, she's sitting with two seminaries who I'm delighted to see with her. And we welcome all of you. And I'm also welcoming, thank you. And I'm also welcoming Manuel. And he is a guest from, I'll let him say a little bit about how he knows Venerable Mother.
Oh, it goes way back in the 1999 when I first exchanged an email. Bhikkhuni Dhammananda was then known as Chatsuman Kabesik Ajahn at the Thammasat University, and she took me under her wing. So she was my co-supervisor for the master's degree thesis that I conducted on women in Thai Buddhism. That was a great time we had together. I was under her wings learning Buddhism at the Thammasat University, and subsequently I was also studying her community during my PhD, so she was also helping me out for my PhD. And so it's been quite a journey that goes a few decades back.
Yes.
Right now, what you do, Manuel? Right now, what you do?
I'm an associate professor at a small university in North Bay, Canada, in the province of Ontario, at the Department of Social Welfare and Social Development. I'm actually the chair of the department now. And so I'm interested in social development issues and how it connects with Buddhism and women, gender, of course. That's right.
So we are speaking to Professor now.
Yeah, Professor. And I should say that Casual Buddhism is a series of informal conversations. It's a sharing moment between Venerable Dhammananda and our guest. So I'm going to let you begin, Manuel, to begin the conversation.
So thank you again for allowing me to be here today and connect with my dearest professor and supervisor and spiritual guide, Bhikkhuni Dhammananda. I would like to know a bit more of how you perceive the fake news, disinformation, what can Buddhism teach us on fighting ignorance? I suppose that would be my question. In time
yes, Manuel, very, very appropriate. Because right now, our life has changed with this mobile phone, really. Our life cut through all generations, all generations, my grandchildren, my children, myself, we are all being affected. Whether you like it or not, you have to be adjusted. When I was ordained, I did not have mobile phone. I never had to begin with. When the phone rang, in the old fashion, when the phone rang, someone would come and report to me and I would have to run in order to catch my phone. And Venerable monk, who actually visited me that time, he said, oh, Venerable Mother, you cannot be running like this for long. So he was the one who actually offered me my first mobile phone. The next day, he sent his follower with a new mobile phone for me. That was really forcing me to welcome, to welcome these modern gadgets. And now in the last 2-3 years, I think information is coming through this mobile phone, which is in your hand constantly. And these informations now are both negative and positive, both true and false. And the one who can use this mobile phone for its benefit, for its real benefit, has to be very experienced, has to have panya, has to have wisdom to be able to screen out what are the fake news, what are news, informations that you don't need for your life. This is very important. And I don't have Facebook. Even up till now, I don't have my own Facebook. So I always remind people, my own students, my own disciples, before you start texting, make sure that your mind is calm and you are going to send out only positive message. You are creating this vibration. As soon as you text, you are creating vibration. And imagine, I am texting in my temple in the Konpatom way out in Thailand. The other half of the world from where you are, Cindy and Manuel, within that second, you already received the text. If the text I send to you is negative, it's going to hurt you, it's going to harm you on the other side of the globe. And how can I heal you? Can you imagine that? How important it is to receive or not to receive. So this using this modern technology is very important, that the person who is using it must be mature, spiritually mature, mentally mature, emotionally mature. And they are not, I'm sorry to say, they are not. That's why we get all kind of message, which should be kitchen complaint, which should be complaint in the kitchen in your own home. How come it is known all over the world over? Husband and wife fighting in their own home, but it's already get out. So this is very important. I underline the word. A person must be mature spiritually, mentally, emotionally, in order to be able to handle this very dangerous gadgets.
Thank you. That was enlightening. Yeah, I think wisdom is key. How would you define wisdom in that sense? How would you define panya? Because for some people who are claiming to add a bit of pieces of information and creating a new narrative, which is not really based on solid information, but mixed puzzles of different pieces. How do we, and they think they're using panya because they think they're providing the real message to the world.
Yes.
How would you help these people in their journey? Because it's
very important. Our own mind. We cannot know them, but our own mind. Are you smiling when you are sending out this text? Are you smiling? Smiling is a physical expression of that mind which is positive. That mind, you have to have a positive mind to send out this message. If it is very urgent, send out the message in such a way that you do not necessarily frighten the other party more than what it should be. Like when my mother passed away, my son came to receive me at the airport. And what he said, I think that was beautiful. He said, there is a little emergency at the temple. He said only that. And I asked him, is it grandma? And he said, yes. That's all. That was all the message he gave me, but it is understood on the receiving end that what it means. How do I need to prepare myself mentally? Yes. Mentally. So you see, when you send out the message, do not need to add negative emotional attachment, no VAT included, how to say this VAT included, added. You do not need to add negative emotional aspect to the message you are sending. Send the message, even though it is very serious message, but with kindness, considering on the receiving end, with kindness to the receiving end. You see, the attitude must be very different. And I, keep talking to my students here that sometimes I scold them as a, I'm a very direct person. I don't need to, if I need to correct that person, I don't need to scold her that much. That is already added with my negative emotion because I do not like that kind of action. So next, just important message is just to tell the person how to do it correctly. She has done it wrong. That's why you get so angry, but you don't need to add this emotional garbage to her because it's not going to, not that it's not going to improve her, but it's also is going to add to her she will be sad about it. She will regret what she's doing, and she's not improving because you scold her so hard. So in order to get the message across for her to do something good, you need to always have that kindness in your heart. Send the message so that that action can be corrected. Yes.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. This is great. It triggers some of the tenets that you actually taught me way back in the days on the Noble Eightfold Path. It's almost like we're going back with the idea that whatever you're texting, you should have right intention, right? It's the idea that you should be harmless. It's still this notion that whatever you convey needs to be also not for self gratification or self more than that, your ego, to boost your kind of selfishness on I have more followers, I have more people who like me, because then that's again going back to the idea of self, this notion that we can be one of the three characteristics of existence that you taught me, or one which is anatta, right, the non-self. So if you're only self-gratifying by texting, then you're stuck in an illusion, right? You're not making any progress.
Yes.
So it's not the right view, not the right intention, not the right mindfulness either. So all of this to me resonate very much to what you were teaching back at the Tamasat way back in the day.
So imagine, Cindy, on YouTube, they always ask you to press like, and follow, I mean, if your message is good, they will follow.
Yes.
Yes, you don't need to click like. They will like, if it is good, they will like it and they will follow you, but now they ask you to please click this because they want to make number of people who come and view their YouTube, so it's going against what I'm saying.
Yes.
That has gone into business now. It has gone into business.
I think that false intention creates false communities as well.
Yeah.
And then that's the danger, because you're moving into that direction of illusion, and then you create more self-gain. Yeah. So very, I think the problem is it gets like a domino effect, and we have to go back to the basic. I think like what you're saying is really focus back on the basic, the mind. I remember I used to ask, what's the best tenet for you? Like if you had to summarize Buddhist in one sentence, and you would say the heart. The heart has to come back to the heart. Metta, like the compassion, right? It's the idea that if you're behaving, it has to be focused on something that is love and kindness. So how do we fight individualism within Buddhism?
Oh, I may not be answering directly to your question, Manuel, but every one pra is how do you say one pra? The full moon and dark moon and the quarter moon, okay? Every evening we gathered in our temple, and each member is supposed to be talking about what they experienced that day, which they think is good. Yes, so my training today, number one was usually women don't speak, but particularly when you hand a microphone, they will be so shy, number one. But after 5 years, somehow they have overcome that, and often they would grab the microphone to speak. Now, share with others that experience which you had for today, because generally we tend to share the negative thing. Oh, I saw that accident, terrible, that man was killed. This is I don't know what is in us that it is easier for us to share this kind of terrible information and terrible experience that we ourselves had. Why not stop for a minute? This bad information, this negative experience that you yourself has experienced, isn't it enough that you have experienced yourself? Let's share the good ones. Let's share the good ones, So in this circle, we share what we feel that was good, what we thought that was what was good, what we saw that was good to us, So this sharing, a community of sharing good things, good feeling, good experience is encouraged, so that we focus more on the good part, on the positive side of your experience, of your thinking, of that piece of time, of that day that you had with others. So this is a training that I try to share with our community. Not so much answering your question, but this is what it came to my mind.
Although I still think it's connected. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we're drawing to a close here. Okay. So I want to thank you both so much for your beautiful sharing. And it was wonderful to hear about your lives as teachers, both of you, and the way that you teach, in my opinion, living Buddhism, living everyday life through learning. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you all for being here, joining us for Casual Buddhism. I will welcome your comments or questions. And my website is cindyrosico.com, or my Facebook is cindy.rosico.author. Just not to emphasize too much against what Venerable was saying, but I do welcome hearing from you. So thank you all, and I hope you have a really wonderful day, and satu, satu.
Satu, satu.
Thank you.